Welcome to the book of Isaiah, Yishayahu, chapter 19, Parak Yud Tet, where we have a prophecy of Isaiah to Egypt, to Mitzrayim. So let's go right into it. Parak Yud Tet Pasuk Aleph. Masa Mitzrayim. This is the prophecy that Isaiah has for Egypt. Hine Hashem rochev al av kal. Here Hashem is riding, this is obviously a metaphor, Hashem is riding on a light cloud, and by light we mean that it goes very quickly. Uva Mitzrayim, which is a metaphor to say the delivery of this is going to be swift. V'nau elilei Mitzrayim ipanav ulevav Mitzrayim imas bekirbo. The gods of Egypt, the Avodah Zarah of Egypt, is going to shake from Hashem, and the heart of Egypt is going to melt. Very famous pasuk in pasuk bet. V'sichsachti Mitzrayim b'Mitzrayim. I will make strife and conflict between Egypt and Egypt, meaning they will be conflicting with each other, one another. V'nilchamu ish b'achiv. They will be combating one another. The ish b'reyehu, one against his brother, one against his friend. Ir be'ir, a city against a city. Mamlacha be'mamlacha, a kingdom against a kingdom. V'navka ruach Mitzrayim bekirbo. The spirit of Egypt is going to be hollowed out, is going to be emptied out. V'atzato avalea, and his wisdom is going to be completely void and null. V'darshu el ha'elilim, they will speak out and seek out the gods. V'el ha'itim, and to the another form of avodah zarah. V'el ha'ovot ve'el ha'idonim, and to the ovot and idonim, more forms of avodah zarah. V'sikarti et Mitzrayim biyad adonim kashe. I will put Egypt in the hands of a difficult master, umelech azim sholbam, and a very, very brutal king is going to dominate over Egypt. Ne'um ha'adon Hashem tzvakot. These are the words of God, the master of the Lords, Hashem tzvakot. Next, pasuk hey, v'nishtu maim mehayam. Usually the word venishtu means it will be drank, but in this case it means that it will be completely consumed. Venishtu mayim mehayam, the water will be consumed from the sea. V'nahar yecharav yavesh, and the river is going to also dry up completely. And we're going to see about that river further. What happens when the river dries up? The ground doesn't dry up completely, but rather it becomes muddy. Ve'eznichu neharot dalelu, the sides of the river banks are going to be hollowed out and they will have mud. Ve'charvu yeorei matzor, there will be a complete drying out and destruction of the offshoots of the Nile. Kaneh ve'suf kamelu, and the reeds, the shoots and the reeds are going to be dried out and basically die out. Basically they'll dry out. Pasuk Zain, Arot al hayeor, the roots of all the shrub that grows on the banks of the river. Arot al yeor, al pi yeor, on the side of the yeor, on the side of the yeor. V'chol mizra yeor yivash nidaf ve'einenu. So basically, once the Nile and its offshoots dry out, you'll have a situation where the reeds are going to dry, its shoots are going to dry, the roots are going to dry, and it's all finally going to be gone completely. And who comes next? Verse 8, Pasuk Chet, Ve'anu hadayagim ve'avlu kol mashlichei be'or chaka. The fishermen are going to be bemoaning the situation, and all those who throw a fishing net into the Ye'or, all those who throw a fishing net into the Ye'or are going to be in mourning. And those who spread a net on the water, they will be in an abysmal state. They'll be sad because there will be no more fish, and so they won't be able to do that anymore. That is Pasuk Chet. Pasuk Tet, Uvoshu ovdei pishtim. Now what else is prominent and unique to Egypt? All the cotton and all the linen. Uvoshu ovdei pishtim, all those who plant the pishtan, all those who plant the flax of the linen, they will be ashamed because there's going to be nothing left. Srikot ve'orgim chorai, the various kinds of cloths that you use and that you make, and the cotton and linen that you use to make a fishing net, they will be completely torn up. Now, for the fishermen to succeed in making all these different nets and the catching all the fish, what they do is similar to a beaver. The beaver builds a dam. The fishermen also corner off and close off certain areas of water, and that's how they catch fish. They bring water in and then they close that off. Though the dams that are built by the fishermen will be depressed, those who make those dams in order to get lakes, in fact, what they're going to get is nefesh, means to rest, but in this case means to seed. There will be no more no more lakes for them to use. And the wise people of Pharaoh, Pasuk Yud Aleph, this is verse 11, Ach evilim sarei tzoan, the ministers of Pharaoh are going to be found to be foolish. Chachmei yoatzei Paro, those who find counsel with Paro, eitzan nivara, their advice will be gone. So Pharaoh's wise men, the wise people of Pharaoh, they will be left with no counsel. Usually the advisors are also royalty and some kind of noble descent. And so they're going to be so ashamed because they'll lack all counsel. And they'll be like, how can I tell Pharaoh that I'm a son of a wise family and the son of the kings of old, when in fact I'm caught with no advice to give? Ayam eifo chachamecha ve'yagiduna alach. Where are your wise people? And they will tell you, ve'yed'u ma'ya'at Hashem tzvaot al Mitzrayim. And maybe they can tell us what Hashem has advised for Egypt, what Hashem has decided for Egypt. No, sorry, nothing. No alu sarei Tzoan, the ministers and wise men of Tzoan, which is a prominent city in Egypt, have found themselves with no wisdom. Nis'u sarei Nof, the people of Nof, who usually have good advice. In this case, it's like Hanachashi Siani, it's bad advice. Hit'u et Mitzrayim pinat shvatea, the corner of Egypt, the foundation of Egypt, its wise men have ended up misleading the tribes of Egypt. So basically, not only is there destruction in Egypt, but all the wise men find themselves making a fool of themselves because there's really no good advice to give. Why is there no good advice to give? Pasuk Yudaled, Hashem masach bekirba ruach iv'im. Hashem has put among Egypt a wild spirit, meaning a spirit that misleads it. Vehit'u et Mitzrayim b'chol ma'aseu kehitaot shikor bekio. And all they will do, all these wise people, they're going to mislead Egypt like a drunk man who's throwing up is going to be misled. There will be no good deed coming out of Egypt producing a head or a tail. On Rosh Hashanah, we say we want the head, we should be the head and not the tail. Here, Egypt will have not a tail nor a head. Kippah ve'agmon. It will not have something strong, nor will it have something weak. It will be completely eradicated. Pasuk Tezayin. Bayom ha'u yeh Mitzrayim kanashim. On that day, Egypt is going to tremble. It says here, like the women. V'charad u'fachad mipnei tnufat yad Hashem tzvakot asher hu menif alav. And it will be afraid of the hand of God that is going to be above it. Obviously, it's a metaphor that was, prominent back then, but that's what it's saying. Pasuk Yud Zayin. V'ayita admat Yehuda leMitzrayim lechaga. The land of Egypt is going to be for the people of Judea a celebration. This is what we call in German Schadenfreude. So when Judea hears what is happening, when Judea hears this is the outcome for Egypt, they will celebrate. They will end up being that they'll fear God because they'll see what God has done to Egypt. Asher hu yoetzav. Listen, if God can do this to Egypt, the all-powerful, wow. Imagine what he can do to us, the little tiny Yehuda. Bayom ha'u yihiyu. On that day there will be 5 cities. Chamesh arim be'eretz Mitzrayim medavrot sfat Knan. In that day there will be 5 cities of Egypt that speak the language of Canaan. And Rashi cites a very interesting midrash that says that after Sancheriv's downfall, Chizkiyahu came and brought all the people to Egypt, all the Egyptians that were there, he brought them to Jerusalem, and eventually they came back to Egypt and followed Hashem. So there will be Canaanites, basically people speaking Hebrew, in the land of Mitzrayim, and Ir Haheres Yamer Lachat. They will say to that one of the cities, Ir Haheres, that's the city of. So now what we're speaking about basically is that there will be a monotheistic, Hebraic, Canaanite, if you want to call it Hebrew, colony inside Egypt, right? They'll agree that if one of those cities is going to leave Hashem, it will be called the city of destruction. They're going to destroy it. And indeed, by the way, historically speaking, there was a very big, large Jewish community in Egypt, a large community in Egypt. On that day, there will be an altar for Hashem inside Egypt. By the way, it was called Beit Chonio, and there will be also a different type of altar called a matzeva to Hashem. It's going to be an embassy to Hashem in Egypt. It's going to be this astonishing concept where people serve Hashem in Egypt. And when they run into trouble again, they will cry out to Hashem, not to their idols. And Hashem will send to them someone who will save them. And he will also help them a lot and save them. Pasuk Chaf Aleph, V'noda Hashem leMitzrayim, God will be known to Egypt. Ve'adu Mitzrayim et Hashem bayom hahu, Egypt will know Hashem on that day. Ve'avdu zevach u'mitzra v'nadru neder. Meaning Hashem will be known in Egypt, and Egypt will know Hashem. Ve'avdu zevach u'mincha, they will serve an offering to Hashem, and nadru neder la Hashem v'shilemu, and they will promise a promise to God, and they will pay it off. And now we have a sympathetic treatment of Egypt. V'nagaf Hashem et Mitzrayim, Hashem is going to strike Mitzrayim. Nagof v'rafo, they'll be struck, but they'll also be healed. V'shavu ad Hashem, they'll return to Hashem. V'ne'etar lahem u'refa'am, Hashem will hear their call and he will heal them. Hashem will listen to them and he will heal them. Bayomahu tiyem mesila mi Mitzrayim Ashura. On that day there will be a direct road from Egypt all the way to Assyria. Uva Ashur b'Mitzrayim, and Assyria will come. It's basically going to be an express highway from Ashur to Egypt. Uva Ashur b'Mitzrayim, u'Mitzrayim b'Ashur. Ashur will come to Egypt, and Egypt will come to Ashur. V'avdu Mitzrayim et Ashur. Nonetheless, Egypt will be subservient to Ashur. Now, Pasuk Chaf Daled, verse 24. Bayomahu yihiyeh Yisrael shlishiyah leMitzrayim. On that day, Bnei Yisrael is going to be a it's a trinity, but not of faith, but a trinity of nationalities, because you have Assyria, you have Egypt, and you have Bnei Yisrael. Bayoma Yeh Yisrael Shlishiyah. On that day, Israel is going to be a third, in Egypt, a trinity of sorts. Ulashur bracha b'kerav haaretz, and there will be a blessing in the land, meaning both Egypt and Assyria are going to bless Israel. Verse 25, Asher beracho Hashem tzvakot lemor, Hashem will bless them, saying, Baruch Ami Mitzrayim, blessed are my people Egypt, u'masei yadai Ashur, v'nachalati Yisrael, and my people Israel. So what you have here is essentially a win-win situation. The opposite of a zero-sum situation is a positive-sum situation. And the picture we're getting here is a positive-sum situation where Egypt, Assyria, and Israel, which always used to be a zero-sum relationship, Hashem is going to say, my nation Egypt, my people Assyria, and my people Israel, that's going to be the happy end. So it's an astonishing chapter, Perek Tet, because you have the conflict of Egypt, the destruction of Egypt by Ashur, but then at the end, somehow there's a kumbaya. God is served inside Egypt, and Egypt, Assyria, and Israel live happily ever after.